Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Racing Podblast with me, Tony Mack, and Ben Aiken from Narrowing the Field. And it's classic time this weekend with the 1,000 and 2,000 Guineas at Newmarket. The highlights of the weekend's racing. We cover both Guineas as well as the Palace House Stakes here on the Podblast. Welcome to listeners old and new. And welcome to richer listeners after last week's Bet365 Gold Cup chase, which we finally got the winner, Manila Kakuna, the second annual Invictus at 20-1, and Nick Rocket the third, all on this Podblast as well, which had a trifecta paying 2,955. The Tricast paid 1,288. Exacta was 220. And the Computer Straight forecast 171. So it wasn't a bad week last week, Ben, was it?
It's all right, wasn't it?
Not bad.
Can't complain.
Racing first, here we go. To Newmarket we go, and the Palace House Stakes due off at 2:55 on Saturday. Welcome along, Ben. Can you start us off with that one?
Yes, morning, Tony. Palace House Stakes Group 3, it looks up to standard renewal, all bar one of the runners rated 100 or higher. The only one that isn't is rated 99, so it's a classy field going to post. I'm looking at a short list for the Palace House Stakes of Twilight Calls, Mitbai and Tees Spirit. Twilight Calls started as 11-4 favourite for this race last year. Soft ground was bang against him that day. He's 0 from 3 places on good to soft and soft ground. So his 9th of 14 is easily excusable. A condition should be more in his favour this year. If you look at Twilight Calls on good or quicker ground, on flat or slightly undulating tracks and off breaks of 21 days or more, you see he has 3 wins and 3 placed efforts from 9 starts, and that's all 3 of his career wins to date. He's also won twice in Newmarket and twice on seasonal debut. There are thunderstorms forecast for Friday, but hopefully they don't knock the ground back too far from the current good description, as I do think Twilight Call has an excellent chance here. Mitbai, he's already had a spin this season. He ran 4th in the Abernant Stakes at the Craven meeting last month. He'll come on for that effort, as he does always need his first run to get himself up and going. He's another that has conditions in his favour. At Group 3 level and below and off breaks of 56 days or less, he has 5 wins and 3 placed efforts from 11 starts. So he's high in my thoughts as well, Mitbai. And then I've got Tees Spirit, and I pulled him onto the shortlist because he is one with strong form on his first 3 starts in a campaign. Since he's been with Adrian Nichols, he has 5 wins and a place from 10 starts on his first 3 starts of the season. He's won on seasonal debut this season when he scored in a 5 furlong handicap at the Craven meeting last time out. This will be a fair step up from that race, but just thought he might be able to outrun his odds given his usual strength on his first 3 runs of the season. Tees Spirits. Of that 3, I would be siding with Twilight Calls. I'd just be keeping an eye on the ground. If the ground does start sliding away from the soft side, then I'd consider switching to Mitbai. But as it stands, it is Twilight Calls for me. What have you got, Tony, in the Palace House Stakes?
I've got a short list of one here, Ben, and it's Twilight Calls. I do like Nunthorpe winners, who ran in the Nunthorpe rather, and he even though he finished down the field at the end of last season, or August, the end of August, we've had profitable 2016. He finished 10th of 19 in the Nunthorpe before coming on to win the Palace House. Mabs Cross in 2019. With second of 15 in the Nunthorpe before coming on to win this race. They're the last 2 qualifiers from the Nunthorpe. So a qualifier from the Nunthorpe here is course and distance winner Twilight Calls. He's won at Doncaster on the going fresh. He won it in 2021, first of 4 at Doncaster on seasonal debut, and first of 10 in April 2022, won at Newmarket. So I'm definitely in the with you on Twilight Calls here for the Palace House. They're on my short list of 1 for the Palace House. They do get bigger, by the way. Moving on to the 335, it is the 2,000 Guineas, the Group 1, the first classic of the season over 1 mile. Ben, your thoughts on the 2,000 Guineas off at 335?
Yeah, 2,000 Guineas, first classic of the season, as you say. A handful of race trends to help narrow the field. If you look at the last 12 renewals, all 12 winners had an official rating of 109 or higher. All had previously won a race at Class 1 level. All had 2 or more previous career victories. All had run over at least 7 furlongs, but no further than a mile. And all had a 67% or higher win-in-place career strike rate. Now, those trends leave a shortlist this year of City of Troy, Rosalian, Ghostwriter, Al-Yanabi and Iberian. City of Troy is the obvious one to begin with. An odds-on Aidan O'Brien colt. Comes here unbeaten 3 starts. No real obvious negatives that stand out. I did take a look at the stats of his sire and looked at the stats of the progeny of his sire, Justify, who's still a relatively new sire. This only the 3rd year his offspring have been on the track. And it is noticeable that his offspring do dip after a 2-year-old season. At Justify, 2-year-olds hold a 29% strike rate. His 3-year-olds hold a 13% strike rate. And he's yet to have a horse aged 4 win. His 4-year-olds have only had 6 starts, so I'm not worried about that one just yet. But if you look at Justify, offspring aged 3, look at them in a Class 1 race, you see there are only 2 wins and 5 places from 31 starts. Now, clearly none of them have been City of Troy. He's clearly the best of the Justified kids. It's probably nothing more than a niggle. But to date, there has been a drop-off and a relatively marked drop-off in strike rate when they move from their 2-year-old career to their 3-year-old career. I can happily watch City of Troy win the odds on. I think he looks about the right price, so I'm not interested in him on the back or the lay side of things. But he does at least push most of the others out to a price where we can take a bit of an each-way dart at them, which leads me to 2 at double figures. Ghostwriter and Al-Yanabi. Now, Ghostwriter, like City of Troy, brings an unbeaten 3 from 3 record to the table. And he's a comfortable winner of the Royal Lodge Stakes on his final start of his 2-year-old campaign. He's by Invincible Spirit, and he has sired a 2,000 Guineas winner previously, as well as a couple others who finished second from only a handful of his offspring that have run in the race. I think 14-1 and 16-1 looks generous for Ghostwriter. I think he deserves to be plenty shorter than that. I do think he will prove to be his absolute best over further than a mile, but I can definitely see him at least running into a place here, Ghostwriter. And then Al-Yanabi is the other that I like. He also looks overpriced at around 16-1, 18-1. He's by second season sire too darn hot. And the evidence we have so far suggests his kids do seem to kick on again as 3-year-olds. The too darn hot offspring have a 14% strike rate as 2-year-olds, and so far they have banged a 17% strike rate as 3-year-olds. Early days still, of course, but it's promising. Al-Yanabi finished second on his final start last season. That was in the Dewhurst behind City of Troy. That was over 7 furlongs on soft, and he looks one that probably prefers better ground. Also looks like he will appreciate at least a mile, if not further, so he could well close the gap on the O'Brien horse here under different conditions than they met previously. Could possibly do even more than close the gap if the favourite fails to fire. So a couple each-way swings for me in the shape of Ghostwriter and Al-Yanabi. What have you got, Tony, in the Guineas, 2,000 Guineas?
Yeah, it's hard to go against City of Troy, but I'm the same with you, Ben. I'm going to have a couple of swings at a couple of each-way double-figure prices here. Al-Yanabi is one for me as well, course winner here in September over 7 furlongs, beating 11 rivals by a short head. Boiling point, he was 4-1 that day in the Group 3 Tattersall Stakes, and then he went on, as you say, to finish second to City of Troy, 3.5 lengths behind City of Troy as 6 6-1 shot he was in the Grade 1 Dewhurst Stakes in the middle of October, when last seen 203 days ago. Ali Anabi for trainer Owen Bowes, Jim Crowley, and my other one. I've just seen a bit of a worry here though, but anyway, I'll stick with it. Task Force. Who has his first run since a wind operation. I hold my hands up, everybody. I didn't spot that until about 30 seconds ago. He's around 22-1 for trainer Ralph Beckett. Ross Orion in the saddle there, who rode him. He was off the mark at the second time of asking in a listed race at Ripon, which is quite interesting, over 6 furlongs in August. And then he went on to run in the Grade 1 Middle Park Stakes at Newmarket, over 6 furlongs, finishing second of 9, beaten 2.5 quarter lengths to Van Dijk. He was 15-2 that day. So quietly fancied in the middle of the market. He was last seen the 30th of September. I think he can go well. He is stepping up to a mile. A colt by Frankel, Task Force. Do apologise not spotting the wind up sooner, but in King Ralph we trust. The Ralph Beckett trained Task Force there in the 2,000 guineas to go with Ali Anabi as well as an each-way possibility. 340 on Sunday we're going to. It's the second classic of the season, the 1,000 guineas, Group 1 over 1 mile. Ben, your thoughts on a lazy Sunday afternoon, 340, the 1,000 guineas?
Yeah, I'm going to quickly flip back to 2,000, because when you were talking about wind ups, I had a look. I don't think there's been a wind up runner in the Guineas before.
Maybe it's not. Yeah, I was just, yeah.
Not that I can see, but I then had a look at Frankel Offspring on their first run off a wind up. 11 winners from 51, 22% strike rate, plus 84 points profit, 41% above expectations. So Frankel Offspring can improve for the wind up. So might not be a bad thing. Yeah, interesting.
Interesting. Yeah. Fingers crossed. He can run into a place, can't he? I mean, there's none offering 4 places yet, but I think come tomorrow, I think they might be offering 4 places, 11 runner race, I think, tomorrow. Some greedy...
Might do.
Yeah, probably Sky Bet, who the 22-1 will disappear down to about 14-1, mind, but if you know what I mean.
We can't but hope. But yeah, the fillies, 1,000 guineas. Generally find the 1,000 guineas a bit trickier than the 2,000, although there are some solid enough trends to consider. The following would have found you the last 10 winners all had at least 4 previous career starts, had previously won at least at listed level, had previously run over at least 1 mile, and ran over 7 furlongs or further last time out. Now, using those trends as my basis, I'd be looking at a loose short list for the 1,000 guineas of Cinderella's Dream, Content, Regal Jubilee, Darnation, and Tam Fana. Cinderella's Dream comes in with a very similar profile to last year's winner, Modge, being that she is Godolphin owned, and comes here having won the same 2 races in Maidan that Modge did on her way to London to 1,000 guineas. The second of those races she won by 5.5 lengths, despite her saddle slipping at halfway, and William Buick riding with his feet out of the irons for the second half of the race. So she's clearly got some talent. She'll need to improve on the bare form of what she's done so far, but she's interesting at big prices. Mikel Barcelona is booked to ride. Content catches my eye. She is by Galileo, and his offspring have an excellent record in the 1,000 guineas. 21 of his daughters have run in the race. 4 have won and 10 others have placed. If you look at Galileo fillies that ran in the 1,000 guineas and had 3 to 8 previous career starts, the figures improved to 4 winners and 9 placed runners from 14 horses. Only 3 of them failed to at least place, so Content is very much on my radar. I think she looks a touch overpriced at around 16-1 or bigger. And Regal Jubilee is the other I think is worth a mention. She had a good pipe opener in the Fred Darling last month over 7 furlongs. The step back up to a mile will definitely be in her favour. She won the Montrose Filly Stakes over course and distance last November on heavy, and she'll likely be strong come the business end of this. And she's another that looks overpriced, available at 25 to 1 or bigger. Like the 2,000 guineas, I'm happy to take a swing at some juicy prices in this, and Content is the one I like the look of. Those Galileo stats I mentioned draw me in. She does look overpriced in this. I might consider a dart at the other two I mentioned as well, Cinderella's Dream and Regal Jubilee, but Content is the one at the front of my thinking. Tony, what do you think for the 1,000 guineas?
Yeah, I've got a slack short list of 4 here. Lang, course and distance winner at the in the Fillies Mile, which those coming from the Fillies Mile have a good record in the 1,000 guineas. Course and distance winner Lang 4 to 1. Have a look at that as post time comes. The others, I've got See the Fire for trainer Andrew Balding, O'Sheen Murphy. Now, she finished, she's a filly by See the Stars. She finished 3rd of 8, beaten 1 1/4 lengths by Lang in the Bet365 Fillies Mile back in October. There is Porta Fortuna at around 20 to 1 for Donica O'Brien, who has started the season very, very well indeed. Cheveley Park winner from last year. She needs a bit more check in the market as well, and a bit check on the form. And finally, Brilliant, who is around 66 to 1 with some firms at the moment. For trainer Aidan O'Brien. Wouldn't be the first time he sent an outsider in to finish in the first 3. Now, she was last seen Glen Eagles filly, Lodge Park Stud Express Stakes, the Park Express Stakes, the Group 3 at just this season, winning that race, beating Albaratz by a half a length at odds of 7 to 2. Last time she was seen last year was in the Bet365 Fillies Mile, finishing 5th of 8, beaten 6 lengths behind Lang at 25 to 1. Wasn't fancied there, but she's clearly improved a little bit. She's trained on because she's won the last race back in March. Brilliant at around 16 to 1. I'll have a few shekels. A bit of change left over from last week's Bet365 Gold Cup, of course. So Brilliant maybe having a couple of quid each way there at 66s. But Lang, See the Fire and Porta Fortuna, my others in the that I'm going to look at in the 1,000 guineas. But as we say, a very loose short list at the moment, Ben. Okay, it's top, middle and bottom time. Here we go.
The great thing about loving football is you cannot explain why you love it. It just happens. Chasing a ball round a park, wanting one team to win against the other.
El Mahoney, right foot, whips it. Oh, jeez, peeps, man.
Yes, it's the bit of the pod you've all been waiting for. Top, middle and bottom before this week's selections. Ben, do you have to? An update. Can we not end it towards the end of the season? Update on current state of play, mate.
Nothing for me again last week. I am ending the season like I'm Dumbarton.
Yeah.
Not good. 2 wins for you, though, Tony.
Again.
A loss of minus 0.4. Once again, you were 1 goal away from landing the full house. Current state.
I'm a little bit like Co-op Live at the minute, aren't I?
What? Just a disaster.
Yeah, at the minute. We plan to a plan to get there, a plan for the treble, but at the last minute, it just falls flat on its ass, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're not as bad as them, though. You're all right. Current state of play, me plus 4.75, Tony minus 29.17. Normal 3 leagues for us again this week. It's the last week, and then it's the playoffs next week. So my top, middle, and bottom is top Ayr to beat Dunfermline at 11 to 10. It's a dead rubber, this match. Neither team can win, make the promotion or relegation playoffs, but Ayr could get themselves up to 5th with a win here, which would be a decent end to Scott Brown's first season in charge. So I'm going to take Ayr to round out this season with a win. At middle, Stirling Albion to beat Annan at 6-5. Pretty simple for Stirling Albion. This win and they are safe. Draw or lose and they are in the relegation playoff because they're currently level on points with Annan, but Annan have a better goal difference. It's a winnable game for Stirling, though. Annan have the second worst away record in the league, so Stirling Albion for the win for me to secure their Division 1 safety. And bottom, Peterhead to beat Dumbarton at 6-4. This will determine which of the pair gets second spot in the league and one less playoff round to navigate. I fancy Peterhead to get the job done. They've only lost one of their last 15 matches. They'll have the home support on their side, and this is their chance to make things just a little easier for themselves in the playoffs. So that gives me a top, middle and bottom of top, Ayr, middle, Stirling Albion, and bottom, Peterhead. Tony. What you got?
You just want Dumbarton to get beat, mate, don't you?
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with Dumbarton. Again. Once again.
This is what makes it brilliant, this. What a great idea. It was Ben's idea, everybody, to do the top, middle and bottom from Scotland. And obviously I went, hey, what are you on about? But apps, what a laugh it's been the last 2 seasons, mate. Fantastic.
Got to laugh, because if we don't, we'll cry. Quite literally.
Well, yeah, me being 30 quid down as well.
No, still got time.
My top is, what I've gone for here, gang, is, now it's probably the last home games of the season for these three, so I'm hoping they put in a good performance for, obviously, season ticket sales for next year, and also when they do that lap of honour at the end, there are some people still in the ground as well, rather than it being a quarter empty, a quarter full ground. Inverness at home to Morton at 6-5. Inverness at home to Morton 6-5 from the top. The middle, Stirling at home to Annan, same as you there, Ben. Looking for a sterling performance there, 6-5. And bottom, East Fife at home to Spartans 13-8. Reasoning behind is last home games of the season for these lot, and don't want to disappoint anyone at home, and do the lap of honour to a full stadium, and also get season ticket sales up for next season. Inverness, Stirling and East Fife all to win at home. Many thanks for listening. Latest edition of the Racing Podblast. Hope new listeners enjoyed it. Welcome along, and thank you to loyal listeners as well. Very best luck with your betting at Newmarket this weekend. If you want to get your groove on tonight, get a bit of funk in your ears, I feel a funk coming on, then you can catch my Groove Express radio show on Heritage Chart Radio tonight at every Friday between 1900 hours and 2100 hours, leaving from platform Heritage Chart Radio. And you can catch more racing analysis from Ben over on narrowinthefield.co.uk. Big thanks for listening this week. Cheers, Ben.
Cheers, Tony.
And have a great weekend, everybody. Good luck with your bets.